Hello, thank you for listening to Three Legacies Recovery Recordings. If you enjoy our program, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share with a friend. We're also self-supporting, so feel free to contribute to the channel through Venmo at Recovery Recordings 615. Please note that the views expressed on this podcast are solely our individual views and do not represent any official stance of any 12-step program. We are not affiliated with any specific recovery organization, and this content should not be considered as professional advice for alcoholism or addiction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Legacies Recovery Recording Podcast, where we explore the ongoing journey of recovery and the spiritual growth that comes with it. Today's date is Sunday, November 30th, 2025, and this is episode 83. If you'd like to reach us, you can reach us at our email address, which is recoveryrecordings615@yahoo.com. That's plural, recoveryrecordings615@yahoo.com. You can also find us. We have a private Facebook page. Let's see what else. Audible, iHeartRadio, several other major platforms. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up over the next couple weeks. Next week, next week, which is going to be Monday, December 8th. We have Harold L. from St. Louis, Missouri. He's coming in. We're going to do an episode we're titling Spiritual Separation. It's going to be exciting. Then the following day, which is Tuesday, December 9th, we have, I'm starting a series with a couple buddies of mine from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, David G. and Jimmy D. from Murfreesboro, and then a buddy of ours, Jared L. from Brooklyn. We're doing a three-part series. We're calling it A New Sense of Power and Direction. I'm excited about that. My prayer today is that something spoken here touches your heart and draws you closer to the Spirit, helps them receive the strength needed to move forward with healing, hope, and renewal. Today's episode is, I'm excited about it. When me and Scott first spoke, well, about a week ago, he'd said that he had some stuff on, or a couple weeks ago, he had some material on the topic of old ideas. I'm excited about that. And old ideas is something that quietly shapes our recovery in so many different ways that we're not even aware of, so many different ways. And I'm interested in seeing what Scott has to add to this. We got Scott L. from Nashville. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Paul, thanks, and thanks for putting on this party. I'm thrilled to be here sharing this stuff. I'd like to take a moment before we go any further and let you and I and everyone who's listening take a moment and invite God to join us. If you don't have a God, let me recommend you borrow mine. I recommend him very highly. He's got a great sense of humor, and you can address him as the God of Scott's limited understanding. Let's acknowledge the presence of deity, and I'll meet you all back here. Amen. Thank you. I don't know how long ago I started that. It was a long time.
Nice.
Meetings got better everywhere.
Nice.
It fixed all those people. I don't know where all the idiots went.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Wow. Yeah, so old ideas. Let's talk about, we just spoke. You said you'd done some of this in Russia.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of doing quite a few talks on Zoom with some folks in Russia. And they asked me to do one on old ideas, and I sat and prepped for that a little bit, and it really surprised me how much I came up with. And then at 3 o'clock this morning, God and I had a little conversation. I'm really sorry everybody wasn't there to hear that one. I collected some of the notes from it, but it's based on page 58. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas. I did not know I was doing that. When I came to you guys in the summer of '84, one of my problems was what I didn't know, and that was a serious problem. My most serious problem was the things I knew for absolutely sure and certain actually turned out to be wrong. And I think my recovery actually began the day I released my grip on what I knew for sure and opened myself up for a new experience. My old friend and mentor, Howard P. from Gilbert, Arizona, told the story of when he was a kid. He saw a short movie about training baby elephants in India. And they'd take the baby elephant and tie his right foreleg to a tree or drive a big stake into the ground. And that baby would stand there and tug and pull and cry for however long it took for him to learn that he couldn't pull it loose. And every night they tied him up that way. Years later, when he's a giant elephant and he's spending the day pushing over trees and dragging them out of the forest, they could drive a relatively small stake into the ground and with a very small rope tie around it, around the elephant's right foreleg, and he would stand there. The rope did not hold him, the stake did not hold him. It was his belief that held him. And I'm like that elephant, and I had no idea how many I had. And as we were chatting before we started this, one of the ways I discover some of my old baby elephant beliefs is I hear me say something I disagree with. I came here with hundreds and hundreds of personalities I haven't even used yet. The great actor trying to fit in every place I go. And I will hear myself saying something that I literally no longer believe. And that's the way I find out, is I hear myself say it. One of the first ones that I recall, I went to an old timer and I said, you guys said by the time I was sober a year, my sleep patterns would have leveled out. And I don't sleep. And this old guy said, I just watched you drink 2 big cups of coffee here at 8 o'clock at night at an AA meeting. And I said, caffeine doesn't affect me. And he said, if you drink a quart of scotch a day and smoke 6 or 8 joints, it won't. And I said, oh. I could have passed a lie detector. The caffeine didn't affect me. I'm not sure how he knew the number of joints. But anyway, and I've been sleeping since, not that night. And I knew to the depths of my soul that caffeine did not affect me. And at that point, I began to wonder what else I'm absolutely certain of is actually incorrect.
Wow.
These days, when I find myself disagreeing with someone who has what I want, I get excited. Because there's a chance for at least one of us to learn something, and I don't care which one I'm in.
I get that.
I hope it's me.
Yeah, I get that.
I hope it's me. If I disagree with somebody who doesn't have what I want, it doesn't trouble me at all. It does not pique my interest. I had a single core belief that was the biggest, the most powerful, that ran my life, that made all my decisions. And that belief was, I'm not good enough. I'm one of the defective ones. There are things wrong with me, can either be fixed or even worked on. And I became an actor as a small boy. And my act is, I'm going to pretend to be the guy I think you want me to be. And use whoever's in front of me right now, I'm a different guy to everybody. Most of our people understand that completely. And it's based on this ridiculous belief that the God who created the stars and the planets and the duck-billed platypus and vanilla ice cream and sex, good job, by the way, that guy was having a bad day when he created me. That is stupid, ridiculous, dumb. And yet it was my core belief. And it made all my choices and all my decisions. And it made me the great actor.
He wasn't even probably aware of that, huh?
I didn't even know I had it.
Yeah.
It was so deep, I did not know I had it. That's exactly right. And then coming right behind that was the idea that if I'm going to get better, I'm going to have to fix myself. Page 62. I'm sorry, 63. No, 62. I got it right. There often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. And further down, neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. We had to have God's help. So I can't fix me. My third sponsor talked about steps 6 and 7. He said, they don't say anything at all about you working on your character defects. And I will say, if I can work on my character defects, they must be manageable. I don't think so. And he said, so the answer to your character defects is not for you to work on them. Not at all. Your character defects are all self-centered by definition. And self can't push self out of the center. If it could, it would leave a vacuum. So the answer to your character defects is for you to invite the light in. Don't focus on the darkness. Invite the light in.
Lean in.
The light will come.
Yeah.
And when it does, the darkness will flee because it can't exist in the light.
Powerful.
And the more God-centered I am, and the more focused I am on trying to be of service, the more my character defects recede. I don't take power over them. I don't have that kind of power. Oh, another favorite one was, I have to get what I want so I can be happy. I can't be happy if I don't get what I want. Page 61. Is he not a victim of the delusion? He can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well. That was my delusion. I believed that. And I'm a poor observer. I don't know how many thousands of times I got what I wanted was not rendered happy. I'll give anybody listening an example. I'll give it to you. When you were a kid, did you want a bicycle?
Oh, yeah.
Were you sure if you get a bike, you'd be happy?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a bike?
Yep.
Are you happy? No. Well, let's try another one. Let's try another one. Who wanted him or her? Sure, if you could get him or her, you'd get him, and you'd be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I'm not going to ask the other question because you could be sitting next to him. But who's sure if you could get rid of him or her, you'd be happy? And the simple truth is there's nothing out there I can achieve, acquire, or attain that'll bring me happiness. Nothing. Happiness is a side effect of two pieces. One, having a healthy relationship with God, and the other is trying to be of service. Let me define the healthy relationship. God's in charge, and I'm good with it. I've invited him to be in charge, and he's accepted. That's, to me, what that healthy relationship looks like. And so getting what I want isn't going to make me happy. It never did. It never did. Page 8, I've been talking about this a lot recently because it just shouts at me. Bill says, I was soon to be catapulted in what I like to call the fourth dimension of existence. Einstein said the fourth dimension was time. And the time I get catapulted into is right here, right now. Place where I, as an alcoholic, rarely visit. My mind's off in the past, reliving victories, some of which may have actually happened. Or I'm off in the future trying to figure it all out, and plan B and plan C, and what if they find out this and what the other, what lied I, and I'm rarely between the claps right here, right now. But he goes on to describe the fourth dimension in his own terms. And this, he says that it has three characteristics. I was to know happiness, peace, and usefulness. And the way of life that's incredibly more wonderful as time passes. Happiness. I get that. Aristotle said everybody wants to be happy. I'll buy that. And I wanted that for myself. Peace. Yes, I want that for myself also. I want to be calm in here and comfortable and peaceful. What in the world is usefulness doing on that list? That's for them. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's the pathway to happiness and peace. Our friend Amy from Louisville says the door to happiness is marked divine inconvenient service.
Nice.
Happiness lays on the other side of that door.
Yeah, I was just speaking about that this week at a meeting, talking about how I need like a level of being inconvenienced, the self-sacrifice thing that Bill talks about in the enlarging our spiritual life. Like I need a level of that. You know, I need to like answer the phone when I don't want to. You know, go to the service commitment even though I've worked 10 hours and you know tired as crap. Yada yada yada. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one many years ago. I realized mid-afternoon that my team is playing the arch rival on TV tonight, and I have no way to record it. And I've got the jail commitment, and I'm stomping around the house. Doesn't anybody else? And I have to rah, 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 rah. I was married to Miss Linda at that time. She never even responded because she knew something I didn't know. I'm going to the jail. See, I didn't know that, but she did.
Nice.
And I walked out of that jail a foot off the ground with tears running down my face.
Yeah.
Because I'd been a tool in the master's hand, and one of our people's not going to have to go back there and wear that orange jumpsuit again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just wrong about so many things. On that same thing, page 84 in the 9-step promises, there's a particular one that ties into that. The third line says that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear.
Yeah.
I thought, what in the world are uselessness and self-pity doing together? How did they get together? I discovered that when I had the cancer in my throat. I told the guys I sponsor, your first thought is wrong as usual. You're thinking Scott's got this life-threatening disease. He does not need my small problems. You got it exactly wrong again. I need to get out of me, and there's no way out.
Yeah.
If I get into you as a side effect, I'm out of me. I need your hangnails. And on 2 different occasions in a 6-week period where I was getting chemo and radiation, and that's rough. Rough as a stucco toilet seat. It is rough. And at 2 different occasions, I got into what I call depression. My own definition of depression is me thinking about myself in a bad future.
So what was your experience on climbing out of that? How'd that happen?
It's what I just read. is I tried to be useful. Pick up the phone and call one of you and say, what's going on in your life?
Nice.
How can I be of service? What can I do to lift your spirit? And when I lifted your spirit, I lifted mine. Mm-hmm. The incoming tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, and also it's also important to remember for people that like just because even if you live, you still can have like a residual of like this nasty emotion in your body. That like if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, being useful, that will slowly start to dissolve, right? It ain't like it's not always instant. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, the day before I got to recovery, how I feel is the most important thing in my life.
Yeah.
I spent my days governing how I feel.
Wow. Yeah.
And I chased it all the way into detox.
It's another old idea, right? It's what we thought.
Yeah. And today, how I feel is the single least important thing in my life.
Yeah.
I want to feel good, don't misunderstand.
Yeah.
But I can't allow how I feel to affect what I do. What I do keeps me in recovery. How I feel took me into detox. I don't want to go back to detox. I didn't like it. Another old idea is that God is mad at me and won't forgive me. Some very well-meaning religious people have been trying to scare people like me into living a better life for a long time, and I don't scare. It doesn't work. And what they did was they gave me a fear of God. If there is one, they gave me a fear of it. And that was a terrible thing to deal with. And somebody who has that, who has a God they're afraid of, can't do step 3. It's virtually impossible.
Yeah. Wow.
And for those who read the Big Book regularly, you'll find that's how you find all the new stuff. And they added 2 things on page 13 last year. On line 11, the last word is friend, capital F. It's a reference to God as a friend. That is such an important concept. God's not mad at me. He's my great friend. And he's eager to forgive me, even if he ever has to. I'm not sure if he ever judges. I don't know. I don't speak for him, and I'm not comfortable around people that do. But this idea of God as a friend was foreign to me. And once I learned to embrace it, it changed everything. Page 46. One of the other things I thought was for me to believe in God, I'm going to have to understand God. And I heard people saying, God, as you understand him. Page 46, it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power which is God. The book says I can't understand God. My sponsor said the teacup of my mind cannot contain the ocean of God.
Yeah, yeah.
And I say, if God were small enough for me to understand, he wouldn't be big enough to handle the things I'm going to need for him to handle.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting. I heard this guy share like on a spiritual retreat or something, like probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. But the guy was like, imagine this. He was like, human beings, we use language, to communicate. So I'm speaking to you, I'm moving my tongue and my lips and blowing air through my mouth. What makes me so arrogant to think that I could remotely begin to explain something that big through blowing air out of my mouth? It's like, wow. It's like, it's like, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, these are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'm there all the way.
Yeah. But I'm unconscious of that sometimes. When I'm in that space, when I first got here, like you said, I didn't realize, just had no clue all that was going on. I often wonder right now in my life how, where is this stuff showing up? I love on one of the last podcasts, the last one me and you and John did, you said, I think it was something along the lines of an old idea is anything I learned until lunch yesterday.
Yeah, everything I learned through noon yesterday is now an old idea.
Yeah.
That just because I learn a new great truth, and it looks like a pinnacle to me, it may be a foundation stone. So I've got to hold those in an open mind, just like I have to hold all the old ideas in an open mind.
Wow.
It has to be there. It has to be there. Another old idea was that I was supposed to be perfect. It seemed to me that the home I grew up in, if I could have been perfect, I'd have got about a C-. I thought they expected more. And that's not true, but that was my perspective on it.
Yeah.
And when I'm not perfect, I should be punished. Those are old beliefs. And you've heard me tell the story about the stream. I'm going to tell it anyway. That sitting by a stream and looking across it, and I saw a cloud. It occurred to me, every drop of rain in that cloud's falling God's will perfectly. I'm sure of it. So's the trees, so are the birds, so the fish in the stream. Why can't I? Why can't I? I got the answer, and the answer is I am. I don't believe God put me here to be perfect. If you think you're supposed to be perfect, I wish you a lot of luck. You're going to need quite a bit of it. But if I'm not supposed to be perfect, my job is to make mistakes, and they've sent the right guy. I'm good at that. And a mistake is just an invitation to a lesson. Because if I learned a lesson, wouldn't have made a mistake. So it's not only okay that I make mistakes, it's my assignment. I have no idea what God's plan is. His will is for me to screw up.
Yeah. It goes into like something, when we were talking about in step 2, when we talk about these new conceptions, the creative, he comes up with clever little ways to get me out of the holes that we dig.
Sure.
That's it. It's like, man, like he'll use my crazy defects or whatever to help me grow. That's the beautiful part about recovery for me is like, if I don't have these, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, these assignments, you could say, right? If I'm not in this kind of mind state, then like, if I don't have a conception of a loving God that's got his hands in the mix, I'm just beating myself up over a mistake. If I put the conception of a loving, all-powerful God in the mix, it's like, wow, I can walk with a whole new confidence because something's bigger than me.
Yeah. That's exactly right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I simply don't have the power to make a mistake so ugly that he can't turn it into wonderful. Not fix, no matter what it is. That's who he is. That's who I am. I watch him frequently and regularly using the worst things I've ever done as tools to help other people. It's an amazing thing the first time it happens.
Yeah.
Those 2 worst things I did, the first time I did a fifth step, I told the whole truth. And I was sure that was the last time they would see the light of day.
Wow.
These days I tell them into microphones in front of large crowds. Talk about a metamorphosis. Here's another one on page 13. My friend promised when these things were done, I would enter upon a new relationship with my Creator. I didn't think I had a relationship with God when I got here, and I did. It was 911, right? God, please help me pass this test I didn't study for. Please don't let her be pregnant. Please don't let those flashing red blue police lights be for me. Get me out of this. I'll never do it again. Yeah. So in those days when I prayed, I was trying to make him my God. Here I've been taught to make me his man. This is page 28. It says, all of us, whatever our race, creed, or color, are the children of a living Creator, with whom we may form a relationship upon simple and understandable terms. Cannot understand God. I can understand the relationship. The relationship is he's the father, I'm the child.
That was page 28.
He's the principal and I'm the agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm quoting now is on 62, but yeah, what I just read is on
28.
On 28.
Yeah.
I have children. It is not possible for one of my children to do anything that I can't forgive. Not possible. I'll tell you another big old belief I had when I first got here, and I read those steps on the wall. Nothing could have been plainer to me than steps 4, 5, and 9 were going to be way past difficult and were designed to punish me. It was just, you just had to read it to see that.
Yeah.
Nothing could have been clearer. And I was wrong about that, too.
Yeah.
As it turns out, there are no surprises in step 4. I mean, you were there. It's like we're going to find something you don't know. And that perfection thing, I tell people when I work with them on step 4, you have my permission to do a lousy 4-step. Get in and do a poor one. Do a terrible 4-step. If you have to do the perfect one, you can't pick up the pen. And if you're serious about this and stay with us, you'll be taking a newcomer through this work in less than a year. Go with them. If you miss something, we'll pick it up. We'll get the big pieces this time. Don't worry about it.
Let's talk about this. Okay, so like, when we start to discover, okay, these old ideas are in there, and we're starting to see them. Obviously we can't change our beliefs, right? We can't change how.
No.
So let's talk about that. Like, what we're going to act as if, or hope for, or what?
I don't have power over what I believe.
Yeah.
What I believe is based on my experience, which includes how I have experienced your experience. I tell people, searching for God with your mind is like trying to pick a dime up off the table with your ear.
Yeah.
Ears are useful, not so good for picking up dimes. Minds are useful, not so good for searching for God. Search for God with your soul and with your powers of observation. Bob D. from Las Vegas, longtime friend, he and I have done quite a few things together, tells a story in the late 1800s. They plumbed the city of London for natural gas, and they put in streetlights. And at dusk, a guy called a lamplighter would go around the city, and he had a wick with a flame on it, on a long stick, and a key. He'd walk up to each lamppost and put the key in and turn on the gas and light it, and then go to the next one. And in those days, you could climb up to the top of Tower of London at dusk and look out over the city, and you couldn't see the lamplighter, but you could see where he'd been. Look where he's been. Look and see where he's been. That's good stuff. So step 5 was simply a confession. It was simply me telling the truth for the first time. And it was where I first got relief. Now, I was not in the big book by that time. I was still doing treatment center alleged steps. But I did a real 5th step, and something inside me released. I had those 2 horrible things that I had been keeping. And somehow they were better when I told the truth.
Wow, you just brought me at a question I remembered yesterday I wanted to ask you. So you had just talked about how you was in the treatment center, you did your first 5th step. When you first got sober, the sponsorship that you had at the time, was it something where did you dig like immediately into the steps?
When I was new, when I got out of treatment, I was so insane, I was looking for a sponsor I could relate to.
Yeah.
Which may be the single dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm a newcomer, and I can't figure out that you go to 2 meetings in a day because I missed a day. And who can I relate to?
Yeah.
I can relate to the squirrel on the next branch who does not know his fuzzy tail from straight up.
Yeah.
That's who I can. Thank God I didn't find a sponsor I could relate to. We'd both be dead by now. What I needed was a sponsor whose suggestions I would follow. Why would I do that? I want to look like he looks. I want to sound like he sounds. I want my life to work like it looks like his life is working. And it took me several months until I finally fell into one. So I had the worst possible sponsor for my first 4 months. Me.
Yeah.
Worst one on the planet. And I fell into the hands of Jerry C. from Franklin. And he told me I was too sick to stay sober on the fellowship of AA. I would need the program also.
Nice.
And, of course, I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Here are the steps we took.
Yeah.
Program of recovery. And he started me immediately into the step work. And it saved my life and changed my life. I wish I'd thanked him one more time. I guess I am now. But the other step that I was absolutely convinced was designed to punish me was 9. As it turns out, 9's the freedom step. I'm not punished for my sins, I'm punished by them. And it's where I relieve myself of that punishment is in step 9.
Yeah, for the listeners, me and Scott did a whole episode on step 9 just a few weeks back. I don't remember the exact episode number, but get on there and check that out. It's good stuff.
70-something, it wasn't that far back.
Yeah, it was, I'll tell you, hold on one second. For the listeners, it was episode 76, I think. 78. Episode 78. Go back and check that out.
Yeah.
We did it just on it was the 2nd of this month, actually. Yeah.
So as it turned out, step 9 was the freedom step. It didn't look like it, but it was. It freed me from the guilt of the past. I think there are 2 things necessary for step 9. One is the first 8 steps, and the other one is adult supervision. If you're new, do not start making amends. It ain't time. The steps are numbered according to Jerry, so geniuses like Scott don't take them out of order. He was not kind until I surrendered to him. He became very gentle, but he was trying to save my life. Here's another one that had me punished for a long time, blocked me. Everything I know is correct, and anyone who disagrees with me is clearly a fool. Wow. There's that old ideas locked up.
Yeah, and also felt like I had to defend instead of like unite. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like
Sure.
I thought I was like, it was about being right instead of like, relationship. You get what I mean? Like how do I grow closer, not just not winning, right?
Well, I grew up in a home where being right was the greatest good.
Yeah.
And it turns out being right is the source of all anger. So here are the pages that address that. Some of what I know for sure ain't so. 568. There's a principle which is a bar against all information, proof against all arguments, and cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. Principle, contempt, prior to investigation. 143. So your overdrinking will require, I've always wondered if that was important, require a transformation of thought and attitude. Transformation, that's a total change. Page 58. We already touched that. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas. Result was nil to let go absolutely. Page 51. In the realm of material, men's minds were fettered by superstition, tradition, all sorts of fixed ideas. I had to look up fetter. I didn't know the word. It means to restrict.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that word. Page 42 says the same thing and yet different language. About 8 lines from the bottom. I could be off by 1 there. It meant I would have to throw several lifelong conceptions out of the window. Several. 1 is 1, 2 is a couple. Several is more than 2. Yeah. Things I believed all my life, more than 2, are going to have to go.
And this is what the common theme throughout all of we agnostics is like setting old ideas aside, setting aside. So you can have somewhat start to have this approach to this relationship towards something bigger, right?
Yeah. To release my grip on what I know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of it may be right, but it turned out a lot of it's not. Carl Jung on page 27. Ideas, emotions, and attitudes were once the guiding forces of the lives of these men are suddenly cast to one side. A completely new set of conceptions and modes begin to dominate them. And Roman numeral 29. This is repeated over and over unless this person can experience an entire psychic change. There's very little hope of a recovery. Entire is more than half. No, it really is. Yeah. Yeah, all those things say the same thing. Some of what I know for sure ain't so. That was big. That was big. Here's another one that I had. Do it great or don't do it at all. It kept me from trying anything.
Oh, yeah. I was just having a conversation with a sponsee of mine. I'm so proud of him, and I'm rotating out of the treatment position for this term, and he's rotating in, and he's like, man, I don't, he don't think he's ready. You know how it goes, but he's still doing it. He's trying. He's willing. It's just so special. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting when they do it.
Yeah.
I asked Jerry 40 years ago, how do I know when I should rotate out of a position? He said, when you learn to do it real well, it's time to rotate out.
So true.
So true. So this time about anything, if I can't do it great from the gate, I don't do it at all.
Yeah.
It turns out anything we're doing is we're doing poorly as I learn to do it.
Yeah.
Step 4, do a lousy one.
Yeah. I tell you, being available, that's the key. It's like being available. I always say that, even this podcast, man, like when I first started this, I had so much fear, right? And it was just like, oh man, I'm like the most unqualified person for a podcast, the whole mental dialogue, and then all this, it's just about being available. Let's see what God does with it.
Sure. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to remember that the great choreographer is doing all the work here.
Yeah.
My job is to just show up and not complain about his timing. You and I talked about that last time too.
Yeah.
So I was on page 62 with my sponsor, and we were working through step 3. And he said, driven by 100 forms of fear. Fear is the deep concern I may not get my will at some time in the future. That's what fear is. Self-delusion, I believe my own BS. Self-seeking, I'm full throttle after my will. Self-pity, poor me, I didn't get what I wanted to pass. Poor me, I'm not getting right now. Pour me a drink. Then he said, how would you like some good news? I said, man, I'm ready. I'd like some good news. He said, how would you like the best news you're ever going to get in your entire life? I said, I'm open, babe. Hit me with it.
Yeah.
And he said, so our troubles we think are basically our own making. And I said, was that it? He said, that was it. I said, I don't get it.
Yeah.
He said, if the problem really is the cops, the courts, the judges, the Russians, the Chinese, your future ex-wife and her mother, and their lawyer,
Yeah.
if those people really are the problem, you lose.
Yeah.
The good news is that you, sir, are the problem. Because when you become the problem, there's hope.
Yeah.
Bring some willingness to this party, we can work on that.
Attitude.
Yeah. Now look at how many times Bill tells us that. Page 53. We became alcoholics crushed by a self-imposed crisis. Interesting. Page 64. And to be rid of the things in ourselves which had been blocking us. Page 64. Being convinced itself, manifested in various ways, was what had defeated us. 103. After all, our problems were of our own making. 133. But it's clear that we made our own misery. God didn't do it. That's a lot of times to tell me I'm the problem. But once I become the problem, there's hope. If they are the problem, if they need to move a quarter of an inch for me to be okay, I'm cooked. And the good news is that I am the problem.
It goes into that, established on such a footing, we became less and less interested in our little plans and designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought God was picking on me. I just said that. I made my own misery. He didn't do it. Here's another one. I was convinced that if I could not drink Chivas on the rocks or Miller beer or smoke homemade cigarettes or take the pills I found in your medicine cabinet, that I would never have a good time again.
That's a big one.
I'm going to go very quickly through this. Page 15, the joy of living we really have. Page 16, there is, however, a vast amount of fun about it all. And I don't claim I'm getting them all, by the way. Page 132, we absolutely insist on enjoying life. 132, we think cheerfulness and laughter make for usefulness. 133, we're assured God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. 152. Yes, there's a substitute. It's vastly more than that, a fellowship in AA. There you'll find release from care, boredom, and worry. Your imagination will be fired. Life will mean something at last. The most satisfactory years of your existence lie ahead.
Nice.
Page 159. Though they knew they must help other alcoholics if they would remain sober, that motive became secondary. It was transcended by the happiness they found in giving of themselves for others. Page 163. When a few men in this city have found themselves and have discovered the joy of helping others. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it?
I had it backwards my whole life.
Yeah.
And some still today.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So something that you're willing to share. Let's talk about one of the last old ideas that you experienced that you realized, like, oh, I'm doing it. Like, how long ago was it, and what are you willing to share?
I'm hoping we find another one today.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not sure what my most recent one was. Yeah, I do. Here's one. I'm having a good day. I'm having a bad day.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
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 Let me give you a definition. Good day. My will's being done. Bad day. My will's not being done.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
You get to see how vital that each day is a day where we must carry the vision of God's will. That's the proper use of the will, right? And
Yeah.
you see how, like, man, I've been freaking feeding the monster my whole life.
Yeah, and I'm measuring my days based on how I feel. I'm back to that how I feel thing.
Yeah.
About having my will done.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I got a lesson. I started speaking at conferences when I was sober, just a hair under 10 years. I didn't mean to. It fell out of the sky on me. The third or fourth conference I spoke at was in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And I was a Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock speaker on a beautiful summer day. And everybody was on the golf course. And the room was set for 600, about 104 showed up. and I couldn't get them engaged. I discovered later that the tighter they pack the audience, the easier it is on the speaker. If they spread out, you can't get them engaged. They're individuals instead of an audience. But anyway, it was just awful. And I called my sponsor and said, I got to tell these other, I'm not coming. He said, no, forget it. Don't worry about it. The conference gets what it deserves. 2 years later, I spoke in Arkansas again. And they were packed tightly and they were lined up. And I'm watching this lady as they're coming through the line telling me how magnificent I am. And that's really good for me. And I'm watching this lady. She's about 10 people back, and she is just bawling. And she gets up to me and bawls on me, crying. That talk you made in Pine Bluff changed my life and saved my life, and I'll never be able to thank you. And I thought, holy mackerel. And what I learned was, I am no judge as to how good my talk was. I can tell you if I enjoyed it, and that's accurate. How good was it? Pfft. I'm not qualified.
Yeah. Think about it. There's millions and millions of people in different places, wherever they're at in any given day, which is constantly changing. It's like he uses it for whatever he uses it for.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being used as a bad example. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Before I speak, I go get alone. I try to go outdoors and be either on grass or dirt if I can. And I stand quietly and I ask him to anoint me and make me perfect for this time. And I stand there, and usually I can feel it, like something warm had been poured over me. I wait till it gets all the way down, and I stand there for a few more minutes. And then I just go do what feels right.
Yeah.
Just go do what feels right. Sometimes people ask me, I'm about to speak for the first time, what can you recommend? It's a couple of things. One of them, don't tell the story of your life. Tell the story of your disease. Think of the three, and think about who you're there to talk to. I'm there to talk to the newcomer. That's who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And my job is to try to sell them on doing the steps. That's my mission.
Yeah.
So what are the three stories from my drunkalog that will help them understand and know how they feel? And what are the three stories from my recovery that would be the most important for a newcomer to hear?
Yeah. Which a lot of this whole episode right here is like what we're doing right now is like, honestly, it's like when you're new, you're like, wow, you don't even realize this stuff. You hear someone talk about it, you're like, wow, this is my experience.
Yeah.
You don't even realize it.
But if I get those 3 and 3 in,
Yeah.
I can be at peace about what I didn't get in. Because I can't give them 41 years of recovery in an hour talk.
Yeah.
I can try, but I can't do it. And that's not the assignment. It's just not. There's another one. This is also a fairly recent one. No, I take it back. It's not that recent, but it comes up quite frequently. I've been told to check my motive. The book says that won't work on page 60. On that basis, we're almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Collision. Blam! Bent metal, broken glass, blood, screaming. That's collision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though our motives are good. And I've been hearing people say, check your motives. The book says that won't work. Interesting thing, and this is what I discovered on it. Many years ago, I was a commissioned salesman. And the biggest purchasing agent at my number one account was a personal friend of mine. I saw to it. And we're guests in each other's homes. Our wives are friends. This guy means a lot to me. I get a call from him one day, and he says, my wife just gave birth. I'm close enough to them to know that we're 2 months early. This is not good news. And he says, we're at Vanderbilt Hospital, and it's not going well. Would you come pray over this child? I said, you know I will. And I hopped in my car. He's been a guest in my home within a month. He knows where I live, and it ain't far from Vanderbilt Hospital. And I'm driving to the hospital doing what I've been told, checking my motive, and I can't answer the question. Am I going to the hospital to pray over the child, to bring spiritual relief to the family, or am I going down there to pray over that kid to look good to him so he'll put some more money in my pocket? I can't answer the question. I pull into the parking place, and I can't answer the question. And I went to the source, and I said, I think I need an answer, and I think I need one right now. Now, what I believe is if I don't get an answer, it's okay that I make a mistake. But I thought, I need one, and I need one now, and I asked for it. And believe what you like, I believe what I'm about to tell you. I did not hear God's voice. I have heard it once. maybe twice, once for sure. The other one might have been a guardian angel, I'm not sure. But this time it was not. But the next thing I got was a thought. But it was a strong thought. It had a ring. It was in bold print. It was in big font. It had a ring to it. I don't know how to explain it. And the thought was, so going into a hospital to pray for a sick child violate any of your principles? The answer was no. Then go ahead and do it. Because there are no wrong reasons for doing the right thing. Nobody cares why Scott did the right thing. They care that Scott did the right thing. And that's when I got it.
Wow.
Principle always trumps motive. That's why step 12 does not say and had good motives in all our affairs. I'm not against good motive.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But I can't trust it.
Yeah.
I can't trust it. Motive governs outcome irrespective of action. Principle governs action irrespective of outcome. We talk about turn it over to God. How do I do that? One, I stand today where he is. And two, I operate within his principles.
Yeah.
And I don't worry about my motive.
Yeah.
It's good to have a good motive, but I can't trust it. I can have a bad one under a good one and fool myself. I am fully capable.
Oh, you know it.
Fully capable.
Man, I tell you, that changed. Like I remember the first time I'd ever heard you share that was a few years ago. We were at the men's retreat in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's like, wow. Because it answers so many,
Yeah.
It's like the secret. It's like the secret to freaking living. Honestly.
How did I get in trouble? I had a good motive.
Yeah.
The answer is violated principle.
Yeah. I love like going into like, what would God have me be? What would be the most loving thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
That's always like, oh, okay. Man.
Yeah. Another one was, I'll always be crazy. Because I knew I was nuts.
Yeah.
I knew it. And we talk about that on page 84 and 85 and also on 57. And it says, seemingly he could not drink him if he would. God had restored his sanity. And you've heard me tell this, but I just love it so much. John B., who picked up the nickname Rusty at the end of his drinking. He was drinking mouthwash mixed with Kool-Aid, and he wet his pants many times. His zipper rusted shut.
Yeah.
And he loved his nickname. And he said, in the history of this planet, no human's ever been put in an insane asylum for being insane. Never, not once.
Yeah.
They put us in there for acting insane. Nobody got let out for being sane. They let us out for acting sane. So on those days when you're crazy, if you don't act on it, they won't know.
Yeah.
Don't tell them they're not ready. Tell one of us we're ready and we're not all crazy on the same day.
Yeah. So true.
I just love that, and I love telling that I remember that crazy old man.
Yeah.
I just love it.
I got to meet John a couple. You talk John from over at Shade Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him a handful of times.
Yeah, he founded Shade Tree, and he was the founding sobriety at the backroom group. There were several of us there, but he was the only one with any time.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
the back room. The back room group was before that, before Shade Tree.
Oh, wait, decades.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know
The
that.
backroom group formed in the summer of '85, and I think we were the first non-smoking meeting in the state. We were smoking everywhere.
Gotcha.
We were smoking in church basements, hospital waiting rooms.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and it was the custom. I don't still have mine, but it was the custom at that time when you got a year that your sponsor gave you a Zippo lighter with your sobriety date
Oh, wow.
on it.
Wow.
And my sponsor gave me one of those. I was still smoking when we started the back room. I couldn't stand it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In the third step promises, it says, began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or the hereafter. The hereafter. That means death, right? That's what that means. That's what that means. And death, as you probably noticed, has a bad reputation. A lot of people are terrified of it.
Yeah.
My fear of death's been gone for a long, long time. And I've told that before. The man I sponsored, Jack P., was on his last lap. The cancer was eating him up, 2 packs a day. And the cancer was eating him up. 90 days before that, they told him he had a year and a half. 2 weeks before I got down there, they dropped it to 90 days. And I spent Saturday afternoon sitting on his porch with him, just chatting. And he was in a tremendous amount of pain. And it broke my heart to watch. But I told him this story while I was there. Years ago at a conference, an old man came to me after I spoke, and he said, I think you're spiritually connected. Maybe you can answer this question for me. My wife of 40 years was in hospice, and we were still very much in love. It was all been said. And I'm sitting at her bedside holding her hand when she exhaled for the last time, and I knew that's what it was. And I got this tremendous euphoric feeling all over my body that lasted for a minute or maybe 2 minutes, and then it quickly dissipated. What do you think that was? I said, I know what that was. Her spirit gave your spirit one more hug before she left for heaven. And he and I both burst into tears.
Wow.
And I shared that with Jack. And he was supposed to have 90 days. That was a Saturday afternoon. Monday night, I get a phone call at 8:30, and it's from him. People don't call me that late. I go to bed early. And I answer the phone, and it's not him, it's his son. And he said, we're at the intensive care unit, and his lungs have failed, and he can no longer talk, but he's conscious, and they say he won't live through the night.
Wow.
I'm going to put you on the speaker.
Wow.
And I chatted with him again, and I reminded him about hugging everybody.
Wow. Man.
Tuesday morning, I woke up at 5:20. That's fairly common for me. Quick trip to the bathroom, hit the start button on the coffee pot, and laid down in the bed and started my love meditation. Sometime during that love meditation, I get this magnificent feeling all over my body, a euphoria.
Wow.
It lasted for a minute or two, and I thought, Jack is hugging me.
Wow.
That's what's going on here. I think that's what that is.
Man.
Walked into my office, opened my texts. I had a text from one of his sponsees, and he died at 5:35 that morning.
Wow.
That's exactly what that was.
Wow.
And I have told my closest friends and my closest family members that when I die, when I pass, and I love the term pass, if they'll allow it, I'll give each of them a hug on the way out.
Wow.
And I think they're going to allow it.
I like the if they allow it part.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that fear of death has been gone for a long time, and it was the biggest one.
Wow.
The biggest old idea.
Did it just come to you real quick? Like the whole, when you answered his question, it was a hug? Where would that come from?
I didn't understand your question.
Like, so when he had asked you, he said, I felt that sense, and you said it was her hugging him. Where'd that come from? Like,
I just knew.
Just came, yeah.
I just knew.
Yeah.
I just knew.
Wow.
And that's what it was. I'm convinced of it.
Wow.
And I say my fear of death's been gone for a long time, and I'm excited about it. I'm not terribly eager, but I am excited about it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old ideas.
Wow.
Everything I learned through noon yesterday. I need an open mind.
Wow. Wow. This has been powerful. So much has just come through. It's funny how, like, what it does to me is it just speaks to something inside of me when I hear a lot of this stuff. It's like this truth. And even when I first got sober, that's what it spoke to me. There was like a truth inside of me that I knew, yet I didn't know I know. Does that make sense? So,
Yes, absolutely.
You're speaking to something inside of me. And that was kind of what attracted me when I first got sober, was people that, had something that I wanted could speak to me. And I was like, wow, like, I've been experiencing this for years and never even realized it. And I guess it's that language of the heart, right? It just speaks to my soul.
It's when you hear a piece of the great golden truth, you know that's what it is.
Yeah, man, it's powerful.
You recognize the great truth when you hear it. You may not have known it before,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
you know it when you hear it.
Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah. Man, thank you so much, man. We need to, I think this is our last date that we have planned, but we'll schedule something like here soon.
Okay.
We'll get some more material together.
I'd like to know if we invited God. I'm pretty sure he came.
Yeah.
That felt pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's been awesome. Thank you so much. Again, for the listeners, we got Harold L. coming up on Monday, December 8th, Spiritual Separation. And then we have David G., Jimmy D., and Jared L. The following day, which is the December 9th. We're going to do a new sense of power and direction. It's a 3-part series. Thank you for all the listeners. Feel free to reach us at Recovery Recordings 615. And Scott, I think on the last episode, you had put your phone number on there, and
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Something happened where I had to edit it out because I had some software stuff. So you want to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My email address is scottjlee, Lee, 628 at gmail.com. And my phone is 615-347-1125.
Nice.
I'm not hiding from us.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Appreciate it, buddy. It was so much, means so much to us. All right, thank everyone, and until next time, have a good one.
Hello. Thank you for listening to Three Legacies Recovery Recordings. If you enjoy our program, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share with a friend. We're also self-supporting, so feel free to contribute to the channel through Venmo at Recovery Recordings 615. Please note that the views expressed on this podcast are solely our individual views and do not represent any official stance of any 12-step program. We are not affiliated with any specific recovery organization, and this content should not be considered as professional advice for alcoholism or addiction.